Yo, what's going on, guys? We're going to be taking a look at a silver Warwick jungler. For your runes, they look solid. I'd say your secondary runes are a little bit on the greedy side. Poppy jungle is one of Warwick's best matchups in the game. One, because she can never kill you. Her type of damage output can't burst through your damage reduction. And number two, your Q completely counters her E and her R. It goes right through it since her E counters displacements. Any kind of knock up, knock back, anything like that, your Q completely goes through. You will still take the damage, but the CC will not apply if you actually use your Q. So amazing matchup to play Warwick in. The lethal tempo, decent choice. They don't have many ways of stopping you out. It's pretty much the only choice right now for Warwick is a lethal tempo, pressing attack. Conqueror's okay, but lethal tempo is basically just a better Conqueror right now on most melee champions. Let me hide the chat real quick. I like your position. You can come into this bush from this side because it's safe. If you move like this, they can't see you from this bush if you move at an angle. And if they're in from here, they can't see it. But don't rush this bush if you're on opposite side because you put yourself in so much danger. Also, do keep in mind, you can just sit in this bush and you get just as much vision. If they approach from this way, you'll see it. And if they approach from this way, you'll see it. This bush is honestly safer and you can ward from this bush as well. So either bush is fine. I like how you're going in for the ward. This is generally only something you see out of diamond players and up. I assume you've seen other players, including myself, do this strategy. Very beautiful ward placement. Even if you were playing against a Kindred or a Graves, this ward would let you know if they were trying to pull some vertical BS. On Warwick, you're usually looking to do a 3 to a maximum of a 5 camp clear, usually 3 to 4 camps. I like the skin, by the way. I like starting with the bot side, best leash possible. You let them know you're coming. Auto attack straight into Q. Beautiful. Looking good so far. Good. It's usually best to skip Raptors. They take way too long, especially if you can solo the enemy jungler. Now, if you know you can't solo the enemy jungler for whatever reason, it's okay to do a 5 camp clear on Warwick, finish 315. But you know you can solo her, might as well skip them. Also, never do Raptors until you at least have red buff. If you don't have red buff, doing Raptors on Warwick is kind of impossible. Yep, spread your auto attacks out on each one to apply your red buff burn. Auto attack Q reset looks perfect. I would just move a little bit more in between my attacks. Other than that, looked good. Pull the blue buff to the Gromp. You want to get your red buff autos and jungle item burn on the both of them. Right now you're squandering the damage over time. And the way you would do that is kite like you are here and use the range on your smite to pull the Gromp to you. And then you can take it. Then both. Boom, boom, auto. It'll basically save you 4 to 5 seconds if you do it right. Those seconds add up, though. Let's look at the items. Got the oracles, looks good. You just assume that the enemy jungler starts with their bot side if you're playing below platinum. They will 9 out of 10 games. Just real quick, for your benefit, we'll take a look at the lanes. I always forget to mention this because I do it automatically when I play. But you're looking to see who gets the lane first. That's the main thing. So you see Malphite got the lane first, right? And you saw he came from the middle lane. I'm not even going to zoom in on it because I want you to be able to tell just from the minimap. He came from the middle lane, got the lane first. Spot lane's still missing. They're missing. And they get there, and they get there from river. So there's like a 95% chance they leashed. Just keep that in mind. You do want to look at the 2 closest lanes. So you'd see Annie's gankable. Malphite's definitely gankable. You got 2 gank options here after Gromp. Something to also keep in mind is it's actually okay to do Gromp in the blue because you can actually get level 3 that way off of 3 camps. 2 camps plus Gromp's level 3. If you do red, wolves, blue, that is not level 3 as you can see, which is kind of ridiculous, but just the way it is. So that's one reason to take them at the same time, since you're not even going to be level 3 after the blue buff anyways. Might as well get the AoE burn damage, and to be fair, you are getting your E level 3, so it's technically not really going to speed up your clear other than having 2 base auto attack, AD, and slightly faster attack speed. I like pressuring here. Since Poppy started bot lane, you'd assume she's on her red buff or Krugs right now, or looking for a top lane gank. So if you want to counter gank, that's fine. If you want to gank mid, that's fine. Either option is very, very good right now. I would have personally leaned into Annie. She's playing way too aggressive. She's all the way up. She's trying to shove him this way. Morgana could probably solo her. If you came up from behind, this is 1,000,000% a kill. And the fact that Morgana's dead, you just assume that Annie's sums are on cooldown even if Morgana didn't ping it. So this is just 1,000,000% free. You'd walk up to right here, right as she's able to see you, or right before, you would W, just walk into her. Looks like you're going for the counterplay option. The reason why this is better is because, first of all, this is 100% free. Secondly, Poppy should be on her Krugs right now if she cleared properly. She could be on them. So you could, in theory, this is basically 70% chance, maybe 60% chance you get a kill. This is 100%. You take the 100%, but I hope this works. Nice job using your sweeper over the wall. Beautiful. You get to see what's happening before actually entering the bush. You see she's on it. You walk in. All right, so you should have used your W. Using your W will give you the movement speed and attack speed into them actively, which is really, really nice. A lot of people don't realize that. You can go into a training tool to verify what I'm saying. You do gain the ability's passive effect against the closest enemy champion. So it's not just the movement speed, it's also the attack speed. A lot of people don't realize that. And once you are in combat, you can't use it. So right when you throw out an auto attack on her, you can't even use your W anymore. So you basically just missed out on 70% attack speed, essentially. Because once she hits you back, you'll lose the movement speed, but you don't lose the attack speed. So you should have W'd first, and you shouldn't have Q'd that early. The reason why you don't Q that early is Q is your main gap closer on Warwick. You've already closed the distance, you have more HP, and you have red buff. There is no way possible you should think she can solo you at this point. Even if you didn't use Q, you'd be able to kill her. So here you should still have your Q. After you'd still be holding it, you'd still have your Q, and then right about now, you'd flash Q her. So it still turned out because she chose to fight you foolishly. You should be able to kill Annie here. She's not going to have the damage to kill you without Ignite. Morgana should cut her off. Just walk into this. Yep. Morgana should cut it close there. Good. Biggest thing you need to change, right when you're on top of the enemies, especially if they don't know you're there because you're on a ganker and you're in a bush, use your W first. Take advantage of that movement speed and especially the attack speed. Also, if you know you're going to win the 1 versus 1, don't use your Q so early because you want to try to save it for when you think they're going to flash or when they are no longer in range of your base auto attack range, because your Q does have more range than your auto attacks by a significant amount. Just start the scuttle out with a smite. Very nice. Pushing bot scuttle is tempting here. However, the bot lane has so much prio, it's a little bit scary. I would be fine with a reset right now. Let's see how much gold you have. You're sitting on 1,200 gold. You could get a T-Mat here. I think T-Mat's 1,300, if I'm not mistaken. It's 12 or 13. T-Mat first back, not too shabby. Like I said, they have prio, so this scares me a little bit. Would not have used your fear this early. 1, Annie's missing. 2, Poppy's missing. Makes me a little nervous. I would also try to push it towards your Morgana and away from the enemy bot lane since they do have prio and HP advantage. So nice job. You do push it away from bot lane. All right, you took it pretty quick. Not bad. Pretty quick. I like the W max first. Newbie Warwick junglers will max Q first because they don't know any better. You only go Q max first on Warwick top for the burst. That's pretty much it. What you're waiting for here is basically for them to overextend on a teammate. You're basically just not using your W like ever. I like how Blitzcrank just randomly goes in. It's like at this point you should be using your W. 40% movement speed is no joke. That is an absurd movement speed bonus for how long it lasts. For 8 seconds actively, when you use it, 8 seconds, even if they're not below half health, just use the W. Once they're in combat or if you're behind them, use the W. You'll get there way faster. And I know it takes like a quarter second to cast, but still, you'll still get there faster, trust me. Q'd way too early. Always try to lead auto attack into Q. Remember, if they're still within your auto attack range, we try to hold on to Q because that's our gap closer. So So that you led in with Q there. That was a stinker move. So immediately you examine, you say, which way is the wave gonna push? Probably should just left the wave alone. Since you killed the cannon mini, now you need to finish shoving it. I think it was actually gonna freeze there for a second. Now the wave's in a really weird spot. After successful ganks, just get in the habit of shoving the wave. That would have two things. Kai'Sa would be able to spend her gold advantage, and she would have been able to reset her HP because she's half health. Now she's stuck in lane, down a lot of items because she hasn't spent her gold with half HP. Just shove the wave after successful ganks. You'll get XP and it'll help your teammates out a lot. You should also be backing. Once you can afford Tiamat, there's really no reason to stay on the map. This is just so slow. Maybe you want a Tiamat and boots. I think you could have afforded it because you still have 300 gold extra, so you could have definitely afforded Tiamat and boots already. Easy gank, just come up from behind. Once they're already below half health, you don't need to use your W active. It doesn't do anything at that point. So yep, just come up. Might have gone this way. If you're not willing to go in it at this point, I would just catch the wave and then push into your bot side jungle. Oh, you followed the blood scent. I can't see the blood scent on the replay. That's kind of stupid that it doesn't show that. I literally can't see blood scent. Damn. So once again, with your W, you do not lose the attack speed. You do lose the movement speed though. It doesn't even say that in the ability, but I've played Warwick a lot. Yeah. So once you're hit by an enemy champion, not even turrets. If you're moving giga fast on Warwick, turrets don't even stop your movement speed. But if you're hit by a champion damaging in any way, shape, or form, whether that's a Teemo Mushroom, a Morgana Feces Circle, or a Tibbers, it's going to remove your movement speed bonus, not the attack speed bonus. Let the record show. So when you're running out here, immediately when you see the Tibbers, you have to leave. Unless you had aura, because Tibbers is going to touch you with his Sunfire Burn aura, and you're going to lose your movement speed. It's basically why you can never catch Singe's Warwick, no matter how low Singed is, because one little fleck of his poison wrecks you. So you're never going to be able to catch her, especially if she kites this. You're a goofball. It happens, though. Happens to the best of us. You should push for your red buff. Try to get your level 6. We're hitting it pretty late for how far ahead we are. Instead, you get the dragon. You Q smite it. Very spicy. Run her down. You eat a little on the early side there. Probably could have waited another half a second. You really want to wait until you're within Q range rather than 2 Q ranges away, just in case they do flash. Or it takes longer for you to close the distance than you thought it would. If you were level 6, I would have stayed and take jungle camps, but since you're not 6, you're in a weird spot. Things can get delayed. Going through lane bush is fine if she can get these last minions here. Or if this bush isn't warded. I would stand a little bit closer. I'd like inside of the bush itself, because you're basically a quarter of a second walking away from your final destination. So at that point, you honestly could have gone in. You could have just W'd and went in. You do not like using your W active, I can tell. You're saving it. Okay, you did it. I'm proud of you. You W. Walk up. Eing here is fine. You're in range. You went for the Q way too early again. You're already behind her. Even if she flashes away, you'll be in range to Q her, right? Just hit her with the autos. Auto her down, and then when you feel like she's gonna flash away, or if you can no longer reach her with your autos, then use your Q. But you're using your Q way too early, and now imagine if she flashed away. There's a huge distance between you and her because you swung through to the other side, and now your Q's on cooldown as well. So just keep that in mind. That's the main thing I've been seeing constantly, is just we're using our Q's way too early. Poppy ease the minion. That's kind of hilarious. Was there a reason why we were so aggressive? Because Annie's half health. I guess I would say, I don't know. You should really be entering from this side closest to Annie, not from the farthest angle away. Is the first thing. That would give you way more... that would give her way less distance to react. Because ideally, if we ever have to raw R, we can miss it. Plus, if Poppy was like good, she would have just knocked you out of your R. So ideally, we would have gotten on her with a fear, bonked her up, right? And then Poppy would have come in to E us, and then we would have queued Annie to negate the Poppy displacement. Like, ideally, I mean, we would have used our Q to displace the Poppy E. We would, what am I saying? We would have used our Q to negate the Poppy E displacement. Like, ideally, we wouldn't even have used our R here, but we kind of left the bush from a weird spot. Your Q and your R completely counter the Malphite and Poppy if you use it properly. If Malphite's about to R you, if you can get your R in midair, you can dodge the knockup. Same thing with any displacement in the game. Same thing with your Q. So for example, you know how Malphite R is a big circle? It's a circle about an Alistar knockup, right? If he puts it tippered on you, it outranges your Q a little bit, right? So look at my cursor. So if he puts it right here, that outranges your Q. You'll get knocked up. Unless you technically start your R and you haven't landed on him yet. But let's say he puts it deeper, behind you or on top. You can actually Q him in midair if you hover your cursor properly and Q him to dodge the knockup. Fun fact of the day. Get the wards, very nice. You're taking a lot of map pressure. Your bot lane's missing. I would probably just push Raptor straight into gank bot or Raptors into Krug's bot here. You can just play for Drag Soul this game. Whenever you're ganking in a perfect world, you're getting there at the same exact time your teammates are for a giga pinch because the enemies react really slow to people coming back to lane. You get a nice little blood scent top side. Do not have your R. Auto attack then Q. Ooh, you did it again. Auto attack then Q, my friend. After an auto attack, they will be in range to Q because your Q has more range. If you lead in with a Q, you're missing out on the fact that Q's an auto resetter. If you auto then Q, your next auto is crispy. So auto attack, Q auto. Or preferably auto when you can no longer reach them. Or preferably Q them when you can no longer reach them with your autos. Preferably take blue and Gromp at the same time. Start blue, smite Gromp, take him same time. Use the team at AoE. And your jungle item burn over time damage. I don't mind chasing a little bit since you have your R. Nice sweeper. Checking all three bushes. Dragons coming up. This feels a little bit forced to me because 4 of them are missing. You don't typically go for dives when 4 enemies are missing. So I don't like this. Boom, Blitz Hook misses. Poppy shows up. R'd way too soon. Let me tell you why. Remember, your Q and your R on Warwick are big gap closing tools and CC dodging tools. So if you're already in range to attack somebody, there's no need to necessarily use them unless you need the immediate large amounts of healing they give upon using them. So here, you were already in range. Take another step forward. You could even activate E here, Q through her double fear. And I know you're probably going to say it, but I'm trying to save the Morgana. I don't know. I feel like it's really, really early. And you might have saved her. That might be a fair criticism. But once again, like I said, forcing a fight or a dive when 4 enemies are missing is really sussy. All you guys had to do was use your massive gold lead to take Dragon, and then you win. When you're already in control of the vehicle, when you're steering the game, you don't have to do wild, risky things. That's what the losing team has to do. Try to get back in. Best thing you could have done was just take Raptors, Krugs, and a Dragon and not have endorsed that weird Blitz dive. Luckily, the enemies didn't take the Dragon. That's awesome. I would try to not, first of all, never use your E when you're taking Dragon or Herald. Dragon and Heralds don't do any meaningful damage against Warwick unless you're pre-level 6, or I should say even pre-level 4. Yeah, if you're like pre-level 4, Dragon's hurt. Otherwise, never use your E against Dragon or Herald. It's a waste. If champions show up, you'll wish you had it. Your auto attacks and your Qs should heal you enough against Dragons and Heralds on Warwick. So you end up going for the Titanic Rush. Not bad since you have some gold. You're not Giga Fed or anything. When you're not Giga Fed on Warwick, there are safer, just mythic first item rushes. But I don't mind Titanic since you are in the lethal tempo. I like how you don't just waste your R. That's good. With that being said, you need to be looking on the mini-map. There's 1 top, 1 mid, 2 bot. This is free. When she walks up into you here, first thing you should have done right here, press your W. Easy movement speed, easy attack speed. If this turns into a chase, she loses by default, and you're not having to blow your R to potentially blow her sums. So immediately W. You need to use this ability more, is what I'm saying. You would have been able to run her down so easy. You Q'd immediately against Annie, auto attack, then Q at the very least to use it as an auto attack resetter. Qing immediately is a waste. At least you get off the double fear. Nice. R'ing at point blank range, plus she was coming out of fear. That was really nice. I really do appreciate and encourage fear then R. That way they can't outplay it. That way there's no room for counterplay. After getting the kills, you look for the next objective. So right after this fight, you're like, okay, 2 of them are dead, 2 of them are bot. We take Herald. Herald's the next obvious choice here. We don't look for more kills. Kills don't mean anything. The only point of getting a kill is to make taking the next objective easier. For example, let's pretend there's nothing on the map but a nexus. What's the point of killing someone so you can break their nexus? That's the same thing throughout the game. Kills don't mean anything. You only take kills if you need it to do an objective. So if they're all alive, normally you need to, if unless they're like 5 bot, then you would need to get a kill before you take an objective. Otherwise, it's too risky. So we do end up pushing for Herald a little on the late side. At least we get the Scuttle Crab. We could definitely start it and pull it out. I would pull it out towards Scuttle. That way we can utilize that movement speed to get away if we need to. You could pull it out much farther than that, by the way. I recommend Training Tool. You could pull it out all the way to like here and be fine. I like to pull it away as far from this bush as possible. Because when you're right here, you're like a max Lux range Q from this bush and a Lux Q and a half away from this bush. Where you are right now, it's much easier to get hit by random skill shots from this bush. But that's just a small thought. You're fine. You're fine here, dude. If you're ease up, they can't burst you. They can't kill you. If Malphite uses his R in midair, start up your E and try to Q him. If he doesn't put his R in the perfect spot, you should be able to dodge his knock up. Same with Poppy E. Just Q her in midair. Malphite just went in. Underneath turret. Absolute goofball. Or did he get hooked? I think he gets hooked here. The enemy's grouping here is actually really bad. You could have just gone top and laid Herald, or Zeri will take it for free. They're basically grouping mid, but they don't have the pressure, the objectives, or the gold to force it down. Like, they're acting as if they have Herald, when in fact you have it. Are we on a Blood Scent? I really wish Blood Scent would show up on replays. So once again, you're in a situation where you have a large amount of distance to chase someone. She's a million miles away from a turret or a defensive location. Just use your W here. You could either chase down Annie or the Poppy. Don't, if possible, try to avoid max range Rs because they can flash Hourglass or juke it. Just use W. Use the W. Instead, you're going for the max range R. It's good that you landed it, but once again, if she had Flash, if she had Hourglass, or if you just put it in the wrong spot, right? Because that can happen too. Following in the Herald. Very nice. That's a good Herald lay. You just got to pick. Nice job. Guess your Q is already on a cooldown. Just kill Tibbs. Nice. You guys should definitely pull off here. Flash if you have to. See, like that Poppy R, you can go right through it with your Q. Either the short snap bite or the... What should I call it? So we'll call it the bite and the swing. The bite and the swing both dodge it, but since the swing animation is basically 3 times as long, it's obviously easier to time it because there's so much leeway on it. It's hard not to dodge it when you swing. That's why on Warwick, the only time you ever bite is when you know for a fact the bite will kill and you're trying to tighten up the animation, be as fast as possible, or if they're underneath turret and you're low and you don't want to swing to the other side. That's like really it. Otherwise, 19 out of 20 times you're gonna be swinging on every Q. It's funny. That's why it's funny they even give him the option to bite, because for all Warwick players iron through platinum, if it just swung every time, it would be better for them than even having the option to bite. Because swing's the same damage, it's just slightly longer of an animation, but it makes dodging displacements and CCs much easier. Oh, and sticking to flashes and dashes. I haven't mentioned that much this game, but obviously your Q holds to flashes and dashes very, very well, especially when you swing it. So even a Malphite R, or obviously a Kha'Zix jump or an Ezreal blink, or a flash. Auto attack Q to... I think that's the first time I've seen you use your Q as an auto attack reset or auto Q auto was against Dragon, and you did it specifically to dodge its knockback, which is the right move. I would just like to see you use your Q after you auto champions more often. W from a distance, I like it. The fight's already broken out, you're trying to get in. Auto attack Q through. That time you bit when you should have swung through to close the distance. This should have been a fear into R. Instead you are your goofball. Just walk into him and fear him there, and then you are the Vayne. Also, your R goes through Vayne Condemn. When you are in the air on Warwick, it goes through all forms of CC. Even Vygar cages. So if she's condemning you, as long as you technically press R before it technically hits you, you'll go straight through her condemn. You'll take the damage. You'll soak the 60 damage, but you'll go through it. That's one way you can actually wreck Vaynes on Warwick in the early mid game is you run them down on your W, they turn to condemn, and then you R them. And while they're condemning, they're trapped in that animation. So if they don't have their R up, they just die. I mean, I'm sorry, if they don't have their flash up, they just die. A situation where when you know your bite will kill them, that's when you don't auto first. So that would have been fine if you just raw queued. That was random. You used your E. I guess you thought you were tanking. Yeah, you pull off, you got objectives, you kind of need to just reset. So I'm fine taking the camp, walking away. Probably sitting on a lot of gold here. They're sitting on 2K. Okay, you used your W. That's awesome. This is a perfect situation. You have a long distance to chase someone, and you have a pretty good idea that it's a safe chase because you can see people on the minimap. This is perfect. You're giving up a lot of minis to do this, but as long as you walk up auto attack, then Q through. E auto Q. Nice. I think this is fine because she was moving so fast. It was going to be hard for you to get in range to auto. So Q first here was fine only because she was moving so quick herself. Oh, that's the one downside though. I forgot about her R there. So never mind. Save your Q next time since you did have so much distance to chase her. It was going to be tough though either way because she does have winged moon play. So she was going to be really tricky to run down. Divine Sunderer, that's going to be strong. Oh, I didn't really see what happened there. Fight breaks out, you W in. I would look for the double fear here. I would EQ this. Oh, Vayne comes out of nowhere. You Q it. All right. Pretty solid. That was solid. Once again, I was fine with you not autoing first before you queued on the Vayne, because it was very obvious your Q was going to kill her, so there's really no point. You might as well just go in for the raw Q. Oh my. Feel free to red smite, by the way. It makes you take reduced damage from whoever you red smite. You need to set up this drag soul. Warwick doesn't play well in the late game. If you don't get drag soul late game on Warwick, you lose. What happened there? So, once again, I would like to see you W. Just in case, who knows? Maybe she gets above half health or she gets the Soraka heal. But you should have W'd E-flash wall. Auto attack, then Q. You're in range to auto. Your Q has more range. Auto, then Q. And swing through. You should have swung because what if she flashed, right? What if she Kha'Zix dashed away? What if she Ezreal blinked away? What if she grabbed a Thresh Lantern, right? It should have been the flash, auto attack, Q reset, and then she's dead. Instead, we have to keep walking her down and pray she doesn't have flash. I think you're getting the point, so I'll speed this up. Poppy ints for Dragon for no reason. This is free Baron, I think. Malphite's dead. Ooh, now it's free Inhibitor. Now you just shove down Inhib with Cannon Wave. 2 of them dead. I'd say Inhib, then Baron. Did I say Dragon earlier? I don't know if I said Dragon, but I meant Baron at this point. I think Inhib's the play. You guys might not want to because Morgana's low mana, but there's only 3 of them. So even Morg, it's 4 versus 3 under turret. Because the Zeri TP. Oof. Happens. That's fair, I guess. If you were being MLG Pro 420, what you would have done when you could no longer reach, first of all, you would have R'd sooner. And you would have feared her after your R. Because you would have R'd, you would have still been on, and then boom, it would have whipped her right here. You basically R'd kind of late. It is what it is, though. She's moving pretty quick. They keep trickling in like bad guys from a Kung Fu movie. They're coming at you guys one at a time when you have multi-champ advantage. Should have auto-attacked, then Q'd there. That's one annoying thing about Warwick E. The startup of Warwick's E doesn't really have an animation. Like you can use it smooth, kinda. So first of all, you canceled your auto with your Q because you didn't let it go off. And then do you see how we missed out on an auto there? I think all we've done here is hit her with 1 Q. I don't think we've done anything else. Basically, it should have been the auto. It should have probably been like auto Q through fear because you can activate your fear while you're queuing through. Auto. All right. All I'm trying to say is you need to swing through more, auto attack, then Q. And you can also bury a lot of the ease animation through your Q swing, which is nice because then you're also fearing them into your teammates. Still really good though. Obviously you're doing very well with what you're doing right, which is decent positioning, and you're being fairly patient for this elo. If I didn't know what elo this was, I would guess you were a gold 1 or possibly a platinum Warwick player. I wouldn't guess that this was silver. You W in from a distance. You only seem to W from a distance when there's already a team fight. You can W from a distance as long as you have a large distance to chase somebody safely, or if you're already behind them. So you don't only have to use it like this. Oh man, that was rough. Now that looked like a silver Warwick. Keep in mind, your W's maxed out. You're getting 55% bonus movement speed, even if they're full health off the active. You're moving at a whopping 553. Just run her down. You have the space. You have the time. You still have like 4 or 5 seconds more of your W. Well, there's only 1 or 2 seconds left, but I would have gotten closer for sure because max range Warwick R, she could flash it, hourglass it, dash it, hex tech out of the way. Warwick R is one of the easiest abilities in the game to dodge. So just get closer. Once again, no auto attack resetter. You didn't auto then Q, you just raw Q'd. And then you immediately E to after, so you couldn't auto. Just fear them while you're mid-swing on your Q. That way you can bury the animation. Feels bad. I guess it's okay for you to take red buff. You do generally, at this point, when you're in the team fight phase, you want to give it to your AD carry if they're fed or if they're good. And she is fed, to be fair. She has more CS than you and nearly as many kills. She can get off more consistent auto attacks in a fight. They have double melee. Probably give it to the Vayne. I mean the Kaisa there. Team's pushing up. You need to follow up a little bit closer. You guys do have drags, so also in theory you should just win team fights even though they have slightly better comp. Nice. See, that's what it looks like right there. That was it. You weren't able to auto first because your fear was going to end, but you feared him on the back end animation of your Q swing, which now you're not sitting there ripping a, like, flexing your chest and not able to auto attack. You can immediately auto him coming out of it. That's what I like to see. And I understand why you didn't auto first this time because he was too far away. Now you just need to pull back. If Vayne tries to condemn you, you need to just R over the wall. Yeah, that's just an R. If you felt like you were going to die from that, you should just art over the wall. The condemn would have hit you midair and done nothing. Except for do 60 damage. Whoa, that blitz hook. When you're dealing with knockup or hard CC champs, anything other than a snare and a slow will cancel a Warwick R. Silences, stuns, knockups, polymorphs. I mean, yeah. So anything will cancel the Warwick R, which is a suppression. Except for a snare or a slow. So if it is up... You haven't seen Malphite use his R, it's kind of pointless to do that. So you could have used it sooner to dodge Vayne Condemn. So you would have dodged CC at least with it. Or you should have just held on to it. Whoa, did you dodge the Poppy E? I'm so confused. Maybe you did use it right. I don't even know if you meant to do that, but that was actually decent. You R'd her within a half a second of her running into your AD carry. If your E was up, you should swing through and get off a double fear, but it's not, so it's whatever. This was a chaotic fight. It got messy. Nice flash, triple fear. Not bad. You guys might be able to end off that since you're all there and you have a minion wave. I would push Annie off. When you're full health like this, you should be standing on top of your teammates when they have a big AoE champion like Syndra, Annie, or Xerath. This is pointless. You're full health. You could even tank the turret to push her away from your teammates. Now, what's going to happen at that point? First of all, you're going to use your E. You should be right here right now. If she tries to run past you, she dies, and you fear her. And if she bursts you, not only can she not kill you, but now she can't threaten the wave or your teammates. If she had flash here and R, she could wipe Morgana, Kaisa, and Zeri, I think. One flash RW, they all die. So you should have just pushed her off. There was very low risk because you could red smite, use your E, and she just no kill pressure on you at that point. Oh, it's funny. Nice. All in all, man, you played like a gold Warwick, maybe a platinum Warwick. The main biggest thing you need to do is try to auto attack then Q. Q has more range than your autos. And use your Q as a swing and try to fear while you're swinging through them. Also, try not to R from max range. Try to fear, then R them if possible. Final thoughts is use your W more if you're behind people, or if you have a very large safe distance to chase someone, use your W more. I don't think there's anything else. I really can't remember, but well played, man. I believe in you. I can definitely see you at least getting gold before season ends. Best of luck to you.